Ever heard of a king who became a slave? Not just any king, but the legendary Richard the Lionheart, the warrior king of England. His story isn't just one of conquest and glory. It's a gripping tale of capture, betrayal, and a rescue mission that shook the whole of Europe. This is the story of how the Conqueror was conquered and how an entire kingdom raced against time to buy him back. Imagine this. It's the late 12th century. The Third Crusade is over. Richard, the formidable leader of the Christian armies, is heading home. He sailed the treacherous seas, fought epic battles, and stared down Saladin himself. The journey back should be a victory lap, a triumphant return to his kingdom. But fate, as it often does, had a cruel twist in store. A vicious storm batters his fleet in the Adriatic Sea, forcing him to make a desperate choice: shipwreck on the hostile shores of Europe. Disguised as a simple merchant, he and a few loyal followers begin a perilous journey overland. Their goal: to sneak through enemy territory and reach friendly lands. But a king, even in disguise, carries an air of authority, and Richard, with his fiery red-gold hair and commanding presence, was anything but ordinary. The rumors started to fly. A higher-ranking nobleman was traveling in secret. The Duke of Austria, Leopold V, had a personal score to settle with Richard. During the Crusade, Richard had insulted Leopold by tearing down his banner from the walls of the conquered city of Acre. It was a grave dishonor, and Leopold was hungry for revenge. His spies were everywhere. Near Vienna, Richard's luck ran out. Exhausted and ill, he sent a page to the local market to buy food. The boy, perhaps a bit too flashy, was carrying a distinctive pair of the king's gloves tucked into his belt. An eagle-eyed guard spotted them. These weren't the gloves of a commoner. The page was seized and interrogated. Under pressure, he revealed the king's location. The trap was sprung. Duke Leopold's soldiers stormed the small inn where Richard was resting. He was discovered not in a blaze of glory on the battlefield, but huddled by a fire, weak and sick. The Lionheart, the terror of his enemies, was captured without a fight. He was now a prisoner, a pawn in a dangerous political game. For weeks, no one in England knew what had happened. Their king had simply vanished. Was he dead? Lost at sea? The uncertainty was agonizing. Queen Eleanor of Aquitaine, Richard's powerful and brilliant mother, was frantic. She sent messengers and spies across the continent, desperate for any shred of news. Meanwhile, Richard was handed over to an even more powerful enemy, the Holy Roman Emperor Henry VI. Henry saw Richard not just as a prisoner, but as a golden goose. He locked the English king away in a series of castles, hidden from the world, and then he named his price. It was a king's ransom in the most literal sense: 150,000 marks of silver. Let's put that into perspective. This was an astronomical sum, equivalent to 2 or 3 times the entire annual income of the English crown. It was a demand designed to bankrupt a nation. The emperor was essentially holding England's sovereignty hostage. If they couldn't pay, their king would rot in a dungeon, and their country would be left vulnerable and leaderless. Back in England, the news finally arrived. The king was alive, but his freedom came at an impossible cost. This is where the story shifts from a tale of a captured king to the epic saga of a nation rallying to save him. Leading the charge was Richard's mother, Eleanor of Aquitaine. Now in her 70s, she was a force of nature. She crisscrossed England, using her formidable will and political genius to organize the collection of the ransom. This wasn't just a matter of emptying the royal treasury. The treasury was already depleted by Richard's crusade. This required a sacrifice from every single person in the kingdom. A special tax, famously known as the scutage, was levied. Every landowner, every knight, every townsman, every farmer had to contribute. It was a brutal tax, demanding a quarter of the value of everyone's movable property. People gave up their silver plates, their wives' jewelry, their life savings. Churches were stripped of their golden chalices and silver relics, melting down centuries of sacred treasures for the king's freedom. It was an unprecedented national effort. Imagine your government asking for 25% of everything you owned. It was a testament to how much Richard, despite his long absence, meant to his people. But there was a villain in this story, lurking in the shadows: Richard's own brother, Prince John. While Eleanor was desperately trying to raise the money, John was actively plotting to keep Richard imprisoned. He secretly allied with King Philip of France, Richard's lifelong rival, and offered the emperor a fortune to hold Richard indefinitely. "Look to yourself," Philip famously wrote to John when he heard Richard might be released. "The devil is unchained." The race was on. Could Eleanor and the loyal subjects of England raise the ransom before John's treachery sealed Richard's fate? The collection was slow and arduous. Every coin was counted, every ounce of silver weighed. Shipments were organized, guarded against pirates and Prince John's agents. Finally, after more than a year of grueling effort, the first massive installment was ready. Eleanor herself, despite her advanced age, escorted the treasure across the continent to Germany. It was a perilous journey, but she would not entrust this task to anyone else. In February 1194, almost a year and a half after his capture, Richard the Lionheart was finally released. The emperor had his silver, and England had its king back. Richard's return to England was triumphant. He was a hero, not just for his crusading exploits, but for surviving this incredible ordeal. One of his first acts was to march against his treacherous brother, John, and swiftly reclaim all the castles and lands John had tried to steal. John was forced to beg for forgiveness, which Richard, in a surprising act of mercy, granted, saying he is but a child who has had evil counselors. The story of Richard's ransom is more than just a historical footnote. It's a powerful drama about loyalty, betrayal, and the incredible sacrifices a nation will make for its leader. It shows us a different side of the legendary warrior king not on the battlefield. but as a vulnerable captive whose fate rested in the hands of his people, and it reveals the unwavering strength of his mother, Eleanor, the queen who moved heaven and earth to bring her son home. It's a reminder that even the most powerful figures in history can fall, but their true legacy is often defined not by how they wield power, but by the loyalty they inspire in others. The conqueror became a slave, but in doing so, he revealed the true heart of his kingdom. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this piece of history as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more incredible stories from the past. Let me know in the comments what you think. Could a nation pull off something like this today? See you in the next video.